In this lesson, we're going to discuss switching our workspace to work on code from a separate location. Up to this point, we've only been working on a single project, which of course exists in a single workspace, and that's been fine for what we've been trying to do. But let's assume that in a real-world environment, you would have your development code, which you'd be working on for your next production release, and you have your production code, which is out there running in some server somewhere else that someone discovers a bug on. So you've gotten the message that your production code contains a critical bug and you need to fix that. Now the best way to go about doing that, since it's critical, rather than trying to revert your dev and just fix the bug and then get it tested and pushed, would be to just push your dev stuff aside for a moment, bring the production code over, fix the bug, and of course you would eventually make that same change in dev. But this way you'd only have to test that simple change and re-push your production code. Now the best way to do this is to of course keep your code separate and have that managed, and then you switch to that workspace, work on that single bug, and you're good to go. So the best way to do this, to model that, is just create a second folder on our drive here called Java Projects Production. And then what we can do is switch to that workspace. Under the File menu, we can switch to the workspace, and right now I don't have any other ones set up, so I'm going to select Other. Now you'll note that it's still pointed to my workspace Java Projects, but what I can do is go out there and drill in and find Java Projects Production and select OK. Now I could copy settings for the current workbench layout and working sets if I'd like, but you'll see that now we're restarting our Eclipse environment essentially to get into that new workspace. So it's important, of course, that if you were working on something in dev, you would have saved all of that first. Probably it would have prompted you to save it if you hadn't. And here we can see that our workspace has now switched and we're back to our default view. Our workspace is essentially brand new. There's nothing in it. So in order to make sure that our code works, or basically to get our production code, let's go ahead and just re-import the resource for the Infinite Skills Password Manager. And here again, this is going to be an existing project into Workspace. And I still have mine stored on my desktop. If you don't still have yours there, just go get the resource again and bring it over. And we're looking for the folder that contains the settings bin and source. And again, we can have all those same options we've used before to bring this project in. So let's go ahead and copy the project into the workspace so we have a local copy on the workspace. And this will take just one moment. And now we have our production code loaded into our new production workspace. And we have the ability to modify this. And just to show that, of course, this is the previous version, we still have that exclamation point. And if we were to look at the program where we had some of our hard-coded file paths, we'll see that those are the originals that were existing in the code, and we'd need to again remodify that or make sure that they contain our path for our production environment or whatever we're working on. But essentially that shows us how we can easily switch between workspaces, and now we have the ability anytime we want to switch back to our other workspace, C Java Projects, or another one if we create it, and when we're in the C Java Projects, we should be able to see C Java Projects Production. And that wraps up our look at switching workspaces.